Who would think it smart to mock the Mexican champion, Marco Antonio Barrera? According to this fighter, Barrera was just a small-town guy from Mexico who dared to challenge him when he supposedly had far more important things to worry about. If there's one thing we've learned in boxing history, it's that, regardless of where you're from, when you show up with that cocky attitude, karma is often just around the corner. So, when the Mexican champ went into beast mode, his taunter had no choice but to face the consequences. Welcome! In today's video, I bring you another masterclass in top-tier boxing delivered by none other than Marco Antonio Barrera. Viewer discretion is advised. The footage you're about to see is not for the faint-hearted. Content. To revisit this fight, we need to turn back time and place ourselves on February 3rd, 1996. You probably hadn't even been born yet when the Aztec warrior Marco Antonio Barrera was already raising the Mexican flag high and silencing arrogant fighters who looked down on him because of where he came from. Little did they know that for many years, Mexico had been the golden cradle of global boxing. With bold confidence, this fighter claimed that Barrera simply couldn't beat him in his hometown, slyly implying that Barrera was a foreigner entering murky waters. Not understanding what his opponent was saying due to the language barrier, Barrera turned to his team to get a better idea of this man's daring words, and once he understood, he shut him up with a single right hand to the jaw. Unlike Kennedy McKinney, Barrera was the kind who let his fists do the talking, but McKinney's confidence wasn't baseless. At that time, he was regarded as an excellent boxer and was coming off an impressive knockout victory. It was undoubtedly a challenging scenario for Barrera, who, at that point, had no notable names on his record. Pacquiao and Morales hadn't yet crossed his path, making his fight with McKinney the most important of his career to that date. And despite being the favorite, even in the betting odds, it seems McKinney hadn't heard the saying, "You're not that good until you beat a Mexican." So, on that February 3rd, 1996, in the ring of the Great Western Forum in Inglewood, California, he was unwittingly fighting for his own honor as well. For McKinney, a victory would also mean capturing the WBC Super Bantamweight World title, which Barrera was defending for the 5th time. The judges for this fight were Lou Filippo, Robert Byrd, and Ismael Huiso Fernandez. If Barrera's fists alone weren't enough to secure the victory, these iconic figures would decide the winner of this epic match. Still, the Mexican star had no intention of leaving it all in the hands of third-party judges. With Pat Russell as the third man in the ring, Barrera came out of his corner ready to kill or be killed. The fight round 1, Barrera opened the fight with a fierce left hook that forced McKinney out of the center of the ring. From that moment on, McKinney extended his left hand, attempting to keep Barrera at a distance, though with limited success. Barrera read McKinney's moves, waiting for the right moment to attack. A left-right combination sparked the Mexican's aggressive offense, leaving McKinney in a cold sweat.
Very good right hand.
There it is. Doubled up with that right hand, lands the third one.
More than he's expecting this early, I'm sure.
McKinney's been knocked down in his career. That usually means, yeah, you caught me.
Now McKinney just landed a right hand of his own, but he's getting hit a lot more.
As the round went on, McKinney still hadn't figured out how to penetrate Barrera's defense, while Barrera's punches occasionally connected with McKinney's chin. Forced back to the ropes a few times, it was clear that Barrera was the dominant aggressor, so far.
Barrera with a left hook to the body. He dips when he throws the left hook, Roy.
That's very smart for a fighter to do. Kennedy seems to be breathing a little hard already.
And staying upstairs with those right hands.
McKinney is to come straight down the pipe at McKinney.
Hard right hand landed for McKinney.
I told you McKinney has a very good right hand.
Barrera coming back.
Round 2. Both fighters met again at the center of the ring, with Barrera's left probing at McKinney's guard. They eventually began exchanging close-range punches. Approaching the first minute, Barrera's left hand left McKinney vulnerable, pushing him back against the ropes, where he had to endure a barrage of powerful punches from the Mexican.
Body shot hurt McKinney bad.
Barrera knows it. Follows up with a barrage.
Back in the center of the ring, McKinney seemed less confident in his ability to talk now that he had to fight. While he occasionally threw weak punches toward Barrera, they lacked the power needed to do any real damage. Unless he improved his offense, he'd be in serious trouble again soon.
McKinney trying to work the uppercut from long range.
We'll keep the body shots off of him.
And if he can continue to work at this pace, he's 30.
Barrera did to throw the body shot so that he doesn't get caught.
And trying to test Marco Antonio Barrera.
Round 3. You need to go for the body, were some of the instructions Barrera received in his corner before the third round. And he understood the assignment. Using his excellent footwork, Barrera moved just enough to avoid McKinney's punches while creating openings to land 1 or 2 punches of his own.
He's been peeled out of a textbook. He's erect, throws correct, straight punches. You don't know.
It was a grueling round, with Barrera attacking strategically to wear down McKinney's endurance and psyche. Toward the end, the intensity picked up slightly before the round concluded.
Confused at this point. He doesn't really know how to get to McKinney.
Barrera might have felt that with the shots he landed.
And that jab began to be a very frustrating thing to Barrera.
McKinney, whose punch output had been dropping in recent moves when he throws that left hand to the body. There's another one right on the top of the trunks, and another.
But that's good for McKinney.
Round 4, McKinney once again relied on his left hand to keep Barrera at bay, but was let down yet again. The Mexican fighter turned the bout into a close-range exchange, though McKinney seemed unprepared for the clash.
Barrera's allowed McKinney to fight his own pace. I'd win this fight if he keeps that McKinney dictate.
Was the key issue in the Kennedy-McKinney.
Nearing the final minute, Barrera backed up until his own back was against the ropes. Still, McKinney's weak resolve didn't allow him to keep Barrera cornered for more than a few seconds.
But Barrera can't think and can't set McKinney up. There he tried to hit on a body shot. He can't commit too much to this though, because Barrera's still strong.
Barrera's swift head movement allowed him to dodge most of McKinney's punches, and at one point he seemed as comfortable as if he were at the center of the ring.
McKinney getting more and more aggressive. He takes a right-hand counter uppercut in return.
There he
and
can't
now
win a fight.
Only a left jab from McKinney managed to land solidly just before Barrera returned to the center. Once there, McKinney attempted to trap him on the opposite side, but Barrera counterattacked skillfully, completely neutralizing McKinney's offense and pinning him against the ropes. Like flipping a tortilla, the Mexican turned the situation around with grace and boxing excellence. Round 5. Barrera emerged cautiously from his corner, testing McKinney's guard and waiting for an opening to strike. Both fighters circled the center of the ring, trading light punches. McKinney seemed to try his luck by pressing forward, but Barrera was a master of counterpunching. After the first minute, McKinney backed Barrera against the ropes, but failed to hurt him.
I really stayed with the boxer. I think Kennedy McKinney's outboxing him. I got a 39.
I have it 2-1 and 1 even for McKinney.
Let me pushing him back, and he's telling him the right thing because Kennedy.
round 5 arrives. McKinney trying to look it about.
As long as he doesn't get to.
Back in the center, McKinney's accuracy was even less consistent. Nonetheless, this round seemed to be McKinney's moment of redemption, with a noticeable increase in intensity toward the end.
Overhand
In Barrera's head.
Now McKinney turns to talk for the referee to at least say something about it.
He should wait till you go back to the corner and tell Kenny Adams to come in and say something to the ref.
Round 6, "You're faster than him," were the words echoing in Barrera's corner as he entered the 6th round. With speed, Barrera landed powerful body shots on McKinney as soon as the bell rang. McKinney, still chasing redemption, managed to press Barrera against the ropes after the first minute. But as Barrera sidestepped, McKinney struck him in the neck with a left hand, which led to a warning.
Like this.
Barrera landing a hawk.
Exactly where he wants it now. Now he's not afraid to sit in. He can see what Barrera's doing. He had Barrera frustrated.
And appears to be dialing him in for increasing punishment.
Following this, McKinney paid the price for angering a true Aztec warrior. Against the ropes, he endured violent punches to his body and head. Just as he seemed to have escaped, a flurry of punches sent him stumbling to the other side of the ring.
Guys are landing shots with regularity. McKinney with a hard right hand.
Oh, good hook. Good body.
This is a war. This is just a war, Roy.
A backyard war.
Both got
Burner. To get his back off the ropes.
Here comes.
By the end of this round, McKinney understood what it meant to be saved by the bell.
Listen for the bell.
Round 7, McKinney was visibly affected as he left his corner. The previous round had given Barrera the confidence he needed to go for the kill. With body shot combinations, he chased McKinney all over the ring.
This has become a street brawl.
This is what Barrera has to make it into in order to win this fight.
Sitting at ringside, Barrera showed.
By the halfway point, he had McKinney pinned against the ropes.
That's great body work by Barrera. McKinney has to hit Barrera's body to weaken him too.
Entering the last minute, McKinney tried to turn the tables, but he couldn't keep Barrera at bay. Everything pointed to the beginning of the end for one of them.
Is on the line. He sees this as the ultimate crossroads fight for him. Up. He's not used to that.
Not at all. That's what Coach Adams told McKinney.
8th round. At the start of the round, Barrera circled around McKinney, blocking his chance to land a solid punch. Keeping just enough distance, the Mexican began to wear his opponent down, testing the waters with his left hand before moving in.
There's your card through 7, Harold. What do you think?
Okay, Jim, I've got
Ahead, 4 rounds to 2.
Nearing the final minute of the round, a trio of punches, beginning and ending with powerful rights, sent McKinney crashing down onto his back.
Hit him once. Oh, so he can't get caught back.
Down goes Kennedy McKinney.
Seated on the canvas, looking perhaps dazed, he waited for Russell's 7 count before standing. Barrera, watching from his corner, rushed in as soon as he could and trapped McKinney against the ropes. McKinney slipped back to the center of the ring, only to be met with a flurry of punches that sent him staggering to the opposite side. Though his gloves didn't touch the canvas, McKinney leaned on the ropes, barely avoiding a knockdown. Trapped in the corner, he absorbed Barrera's punishing blows until he attempted a clinch, desperately trying to halt the beating he'd become a victim of. But Barrera's fury was unstoppable, and like a charging bull, he sent McKinney flying to the other side, this time without the ropes to catch him. McKinney rose immediately, but Russell counted to 8 before allowing him to continue. With less than 30 seconds on the clock, McKinney resorted to scrambling and jumping around the ring to avoid facing Barrera again. Unfortunately for him, Barrera was faster and soon cornered him against the ropes, delivering a barrage of brutal punches until the bell forced him to stop.
He's gonna make it! McKinney survived!
9th round, McKinney looked near collapse in his corner, and it seemed unlikely he would survive the 9th round. But his lateral movement bought him just enough time to hang on. When the pressure mounted, he would extend his left to keep Barrera at bay. Yet, Barrera showed his superiority by landing clean shots to McKinney's head and body, cornering him against the ropes from time to time.
He's kind of tired, and if Barrera keeps his fight up here, right up.
Unable to throw back very often. Barrera just bearing in.
The body shots are starting to show on McKinney.
McKinney up higher.
Just like he is now. He should be all over the guy. He can hit the guy now.
As the round entered its final minute, another deadly flurry left McKinney down in a corner once again.
Vicious combinations by Barrera.
Russell allowed him to continue, only for McKinney to resume his escape plan, which, surprisingly, bought him another round. 10th round, McKinney had no intention of trading punches with Barrera anymore. From the start, he kept his distance and continued moving, trying to avoid facing the Mexican head-on. Barrera kept pressing, following him closely and landing powerful shots. For a brief moment, McKinney's offense seemed to flicker back to life as he backed Barrera against the ropes. But it was only a last-ditch effort. Aside from those fleeting moments, Barrera remained the clear aggressor in the fight.
One thing that also should be noted here is McKinney sacrifices his head for his body. He keeps his hands. Another excellent right. Oh, that hurt McKinney. That hurt Barrera. That shot hurt Barrera finally.
Alrighty. Kennedy McKinney re-seizes the momentum of the fight.
Barrera's hurt. Barrera's still powerful and strong. But with a good right hand here. Oh, good try. Oh, he got caught with a good shot.
11th round. With the judge's decision just around the corner, McKinney had only 6 minutes left to prove why he deserved the win, if he wasn't going to stop Barrera within the scheduled rounds. In a stroke of luck, McKinney landed a hard right to Barrera's chin just as Barrera's left foot slipped on the canvas, causing the Mexican to steady himself with his right glove on the mat.
You had a margin on the scorecards.
I was constantly. Oh, good shot on.
Russell counted it, and the fight continued. Frustrated by the knockdown, Barrera went into beast mode, attacking fiercely only to slip again, almost in the same spot. Moving with more caution, Barrera fought through the rest of the round, demonstrating that McKinney still couldn't seriously hurt him.
He's landing the more solid punches in this round. You look back at that minute and 40-second break between rounds 9 and 10, what an enormous benefit it was to the 30-year. Hard right hand by Barrera. And a left hand shot. But they're going to go.
12th round. At the end of the 11th, McKinney raised his arms, celebrating the fact that he'd reached the final round. Just barely. He assumed that Barrera wouldn't be able to finish him once and for all. But in underestimating him once again, he doubled his own karma. Barrera entered the final round in beast mode, throwing power punches left and right. Just seconds in, McKinney was flat on his back on the canvas. A hard right hand had returned the favor, leaving McKinney with the decision of whether to stand before Russell counted to 10. McKinney tried to avoid another knockdown by sidestepping and clinching, but it wasn't enough. Barrera stayed on him, applying so much pressure that McKinney stumbled and fell to the canvas on his own a couple of times. Still not satisfied, Barrera was determined to fight to the last second.
It would be a tough way to go for Kennedy McKinney. Hard right hand over the top by McKinney.
The fans chanting for Barrera.
Thing to go through. I went through that once in a fight with Delano Malinga. Oh, he's hurt.
Oh, tremendous left hand body shot.
With another powerful right, Barrera left McKinney seated on the canvas for the 4th time in just this round. There was nothing more to be done.
McKinney is a weak fighter now. Barrera knows it.
And that's it.
The small-town Mexican had shown the big city fighter what true boxing was. Against all odds and despite the betting trends, Kennedy McKinney lost by technical knockout at 2 minutes and 5 seconds of the 12th round. After so much boasting, he needed help from his corner to stand, barely able to see through his bruised face as he watched the undisputed champion celebrate his victory. Closing, thank you for sticking with me to the end. Remember, the best way to support my content is by leaving a like on the video. Do you think McKinney had any real chance against Barrera? What do you think led to this tragic outcome? Let me know in the comments.